give us a couple of more minutes because public comment is just as important as our legislative items. Please give us a few more minutes. Thank you. Welcome to the October 13th, 2025 meeting of the Public Safety Legal Administration Committee. I am Councilmember Andrea L. Boone, chair of this committee. To my right is the Honorable Byron D. Amos, District 3. To my left is the Honorable Mary Norwood and the Honorable Ishay Collins. Can we have a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved.
Moved by the Honorable Ishay Collins, seconded by the Honorable Byron D. Amos. Please open the vote.
Vote is open. Vote is closed. 4 yeas, 0 nays. The agenda has been adopted.
Can we have a motion to approve the minutes? Moved by the Honorable Mary Norwood, seconded by the Honorable Ishay Collins. Please open the vote.
Vote is open. Vote is closed. 4 yeas, 0 nays. The minutes have been approved.
This brings us to our public comment portion of the agenda. When we call your name, please approach the podium. Our first speaker is Henri Jordan.
Giving out the Spirit of God to everyone that's here. And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. St. John 8:32. They will not be sinless but blameless, free from the power of sin. I cannot promote a life when you promote and pay someone else for what Christ did in me. Then you rejected the gift operating to help you, not me. But whosoever shall deny me before men, him will I also deny before my Father which is in heaven. Matthew 10, chapter 33rd verse. Jesus constantly called for an open confession of himself by his followers. When you denied the deeds Christ did through me, you rejected the gift operating and rejected me, the income he created through me. Then you rejected free course of the gift to help you. Woe to thee that spoilest, and thou wast not spoiled. And dealest treacherously, and they dealt not treacherously with thee. When thou shalt cease to spoil, thou shalt be spoiled. When thou shalt make an end to deal treacherously, they shall deal treacherously with thee. Isaiah 33rd chapter, 1st verse. Thee that spoilest and was not spoiled is a reference to the Antichrist and his kingdom. God warned you of your wicked action that brings his wrath and correction upon you or me. This is the reason we should seek to obey Jesus and disobey Satan. O Lord God, to whom vengeance belongeth, O God, to whom vengeance belongeth, show thyself. Psalm 91st chapter, first verse. Is it in the spirit of the petition, thy kingdom come, a cry that God's righteous rule be established over all men, especially the wicked? When you seek to do wicked deeds, then you ask for the wicked to rule over us. Let us seek for the power to obey Jesus. James will seek for the power to obey Jesus because I had a vision that James was wearing blackness, begging for me to obey Satan and seeking to transfer the evil spirit to me. God forbid, in the name of Jesus. We want power to disobey Satan and the power to obey Jesus. That's real power that will protect you and your soul out of hell. And I need that power if you don't.
We have been joined by the Honorable Antonio Lewis. Our next speaker, Ms. Sheila Freeman. Sheila Freeman. Oh, Shaka. Come on in, Shaka.
Ain't no Sheila, Miss Boone.
Well, your writing, Shaka, looks like your A looks like a E. I'm sorry.
That's all right. That's all right.
Thank
Ms.
you.
Boone.
Thank you.
Yes, this is Shaka Freeman. I came here to talk about continual harassment by APD. Continue to stalk me in public places, ML King, the Chick-fil-A, et cetera, et cetera. Incident report 242-151062-1. It says I'm trespassing City Hall, but I'm here in City Hall. So this is evidence, this incident report of how I'm being treated. This says I'm criminally trespassing City Hall. So I'm asking for an investigation by whoever requests GBI or whoever. Nobody talking to me. Ain't nobody investigating. Nobody saying nothing to me about following me around on the streets, following me by my apartment, by Cooks Park, getting business owners to trespass me in all the businesses in 30314 area code. So they're literally going inside telling security guards to harass me when I come in as a paying customer. Zone 1, Zone 5 continue doing this. Also, I was tased Easter Sunday. I was trespassed again illegally by APD, City of Atlanta, and it says it's in the police report that the officers, Sergeant Bloom, he trespassed me. Walmart didn't trespass me, so this officer tased me in the back. You know why he tased me? He tased me because I caught him doing a sexual dance in the front of the store in Walmart. He wrote in the report, I stood to stretch, swaying left to right to relieve the pressure on my hips and groin. So this is the same officer I told to stop doing that inappropriate behavior where women got to walk past, minors got to walk past, the college girls got to walk past, and he wouldn't stop. I told him multiple times to stop while I'm waiting on my Uber to go home. And this same officer tased me in the back. So this is more evidence of me being harassed in public places. My most recent arrest, September 13th at 10 Restaurant. APD putting false claims in a police report that I'm threatening to beat people up, putting in a disorderly conduct report that I'm stalking women in the bar, making up lies. So I'm asking for some investigation. I'm asking to be talked to. I'm asking for people to look into what's going on with me. And I'm asking for a GBI investigation into all of my arrests and everything that's been involved with me with APD. They out here sexually harassing women. You placing them in front of these stores illegally working as security, and they can't enforce the rules of a private business. So you have APD out here charging $50 an hour for police presence. They're charging the private businesses for police presence. That's unlawful. That's defrauding the private businesses. The owners don't know anything about the rules, about they can't enforce the rules of a business. So how could you pay somebody to be security, but they can't enforce the rules of a business? That's it. I would like to speak to somebody, have some rebuttal.
Thank you. Next speaker, Devin Franklin.
Is it possible for someone to talk to me about?
Yes, we're going to send the staff over to you shortly, okay?
Thank you, Ms. Boone. No,
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Devin Franklin.
Good afternoon, council members. My name is Devin Franklin. I'm Senior Movement Policy Counsel at the Southern Center for Human Rights. For those who are not aware, I'm also a former public defender in Fulton County for more than 12 years. Today, I am here to speak to you all regarding Resolution 25R3289. That, of course, is the staged withdrawal legislation that was originally sponsored by Councilman Lewis. To begin, what I would like to say is that delay is the enemy of progress. That piece of legislation was introduced by Councilman Lewis back in March 17th. A week later, it was brought before this body, and it was tabled, and it's effectively remained tabled since that point in time, save for an effort in August when Mr. Lewis attempted to have the council vote upon that piece of legislation because we've not heard anything. We are, to the extent that we have a transparent body, we have no idea what the conversations are around the lease of Atlanta City Detention Center and the Fulton County government. Would like to say that, you know, the question about transparency begins with consideration of this legislation, well, earlier legislation from 2022. If you all recall, in August of that year, at this very meeting, Mayor Andre Dickens stood before this body, actually in the larger chambers, because the issue and the question about whether the lease should go forward was such a large question that you all anticipated significant show out from the public, and evidently there was also the need for the mayor to come speak directly to the then need for leasing ACDC to Fulton County. At that meeting, during his comments, he made a promise that that lease would be 4 years and no more. That promise led to legislation that authorized the mayor to enter into a contract, which again was for 4 years and no more. And we now stand at a point in time where we have both a promise and a contract that says that ACDC to Fulton County for 4 years and no more. Now, aside from the fact that that lease has been an objective failure, that more than a dozen people have died in Fulton County custody since this body elected to go into business with Fulton County, it's very rare that you have the opportunity to remove yourself from failed public policy, to keep a promise, and to keep a contractual obligation. Nevertheless, we sit with this paper still being held in the breast of this body. And what I'm asking you all to do today is to take whatever steps are needed to make sure that that paper is in position to be voted on here and next week before the full council. Because I may have lost some faith in terms of what you all may actually do. I certainly hope that this paper passes. It is just asking to be done what was contractually authorized to be done. But at worst, I would just like to know who you are. What do you believe? Where do you stand on this issue? Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Jason Glasgow. Jason, Glassow.
Good afternoon, council members. My name is Jason Glasgow. Here to discuss stability and recognition for Progressive Firefighters of Georgia. I've been a member with AFRD for 10 years now and proud of what Progressive is building. The organization is growing in numbers as well as in purpose. We're helping firefighters and supporting their needs. They're doing outreach in the community and all without guaranteed funding. Payroll deduction is not a luxury, and it's bare minimum that's needed to continue to do the work the right way. Recognizing Progressive for payroll deductions gives us stability and the ability to continue helping, keep growing, and being a resource for the department, as well as this great city that we all love. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Our next speaker, Tequila Martin.
Good afternoon, council members, everyone. My name is Tequila Martin. I have been a firefighter for 7 years. I'm here on behalf of Progressive Firefighters. I just want to speak about support and consistency, and what's happening with Progressive is real. We're helping members inside the department every week, whether it's personal issues, job concerns, or just being there for someone to help them with their needs and support. But without payroll deduction, it's hard to keep that momentum going. It's tough to plan or sustain programs when we're constantly having to start from scratch. Payroll deduction is the foundation that we need. It's truly the bare minimum, so we can keep showing up and being a resource for every firefighter, not just the ones already involved in our program. So thank you so much for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Boronic Media, Medina.
Good afternoon, council members. This is Barani Medina. I've been a firefighter for about a year now, and speaking on the behalf of Progressive Firefighters. And over the past year, the organization's been growing, and more guys have been joining just because they see that we're a serious organization about helping the guys in our city grow together as a department. We can't keep functioning like that without a proper payroll deduction. That is what one of our guys just says, it's the bare minimum. We can't keep coming out of pocket and helping ourselves without help from our members. We just ask for a fair chance. It's not about politics. We just need a fair chance to keep on growing. Thank y'all for your time.
Thank you. Next speaker, Christopher Roach.
Good afternoon, council representatives. I'm going to yield my time to President Taylor Nelson.
Okay. Next speaker, Helen Williams. Helen Williams. She's coming.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Helen Delilah Williams. I am a Vine City resident. I'm standing before you, and I would like to speak to you in reference of concerns that I've had dealing with identity theft at 642 Leicester Street. And the reason I stand before you to let you know is that I have been having some meetings with the police department. The location is the fraud department on West Peachtree Place, and I have not yet to receive a report that is listed with the right information on it. Reason being, I'm not sure. There is an officer by the name of Joshua Carey. I'm not sure if he's with the city of Atlanta, but my last meeting with him was at West Peachtree Place, and this gentleman officer was in a uniform which was completely unprofessional. It wasn't ID'd as a City of Atlanta police officer. He only had a patch on the shirt. It was 3 sizes too big. Then he also had a rebel hat on, which had the rebel flag on it. And then I started looking at him a little different, and I was like, you're not dressed properly. And he just moved on. But the report that he had given me was just inconsistent. I did this report at Zone 1 with Ms. Tolliver. I have all this information before me. And she stated that all the information that was on the recorder, the body cam, the officer was supposed to write down on the report. And when I went to get the report, the most important things that should have been on that report was not. And i.e., I showed him where I am a member of the Greater Piney Grove, and that there was a receipt showing that my name was different and that this person was signing my name. I showed him that, and it was on the recorder as well, because I took the picture of it to show it, to make sure it was on the recorder. The other thing is that I also showed him that my tag on my BMW was stolen. And I didn't know how important that was until just recently, that the tag was used to go to the bank to get a loan on my house. So I would love to have an officer to look at this information and investigate this situation, because I cannot be the only one going through this in Vine City.
Next speaker, Nikki B-U-G-G Bug.
Good afternoon. The landmark is the poster child for egregious mishaps due to predatory investor throughout the building in the city of Atlanta. The security in the building has been compromised. The building is being distressed systematically each day. We start off with the January 17, 2024 fire that is still sitting by the wayside. Our elevators don't work. We have 3 elevators. The past several weeks, the elevators had not worked. This past weekend, we had no elevators. We have seniors in the building. Non-permitted construction, shootings, stabbings, deaths. Someone thrown from a 15th floor stairwell window. The homeowners continue to live in distress in the building, and we've asked for help for many times, so we can just keep sounding the horn, and hopefully in time something will pick up. This is a 200-unit building. A 200-unit building, and there are very few homeowners left due to the inaction and the actions of these people and the inactions of the city and the state. We do need your help. What the city can do is to strengthen enforcement of ATL short-term rentals. You can get control of that. Push the law department to investigate possible misuse of nonprofit HOA status and fraudulent billing practices. The building, the STR, Airbnb, and the predatory investors are profiting off of our suffering. The object of the game is to get us out of the building so they can take over the building in its entirety. That is the object of the game. We need your help, and we'll continue to ask. Something has to be done. And if it's happening in your backyard, and we're just up the street, and this is your backyard, then it'll eventually end up in your homes, in your neighborhoods. We have to get a hold of it. We have very few homeowners left. We have seniors in the building, and at this point, they're fearing for their lives. So if you could step up, that would be grateful. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker, Reggie Scott.
Good afternoon. My name is Reggie Scott, and I'm here as the Vice President of Progressive Firefighters of Atlanta Labor Organization. You've heard briefly from 3 of our members. That's just 3 of the hundreds that we have that echo the same sentiment. I'm not going to be a broken record. You know that we are here speaking for recognition so that we can have automatic payroll deduction. You heard from members with 10 years, 7 years, and 1 year respectively. They didn't have to be here. They came here because they believe in what we're doing. That man with 1 year on, one thing we preach is education. He's here staying so that he can learn and see the true processes of getting things done, and also see that we get true results and realistic results. And we're teaching all of our members that, not just in the firehouse, but everything that regards our career. And with that said, please grant us payroll deduction, and we look forward to continuing working with you. Thank you.
President, come up here. President Tyler Nelson.
Greetings, Council. My name is Tyler Nelson, President of Progressive Firefighters Atlanta Labor Organization, also a City of Atlanta resident and firefighter. And on behalf of the department, I want to continue to say thank you for what each of you have done to support the fire department by approving raises, new equipment, and new stations being built from the mayor down to everyone in City Hall. I say thank you again. I'm here to speak on why Progressive Firefighters is seeking to be recognized by the city for the purpose of payroll deductions. Our organization is growing for the better in the department, and one thing we need is to have consistent funding like any organization. Funding is the foundation needed for us to function properly. We are striving to be a consistent resource to members and to the community, specifically the citizens of Atlanta in each of our districts. We enjoy giving. We realize that people only see firefighters at their worst time. So we enjoy funding back-to-school giveaways, food drives, toy drives, and neighborhood cleanups. We are a professional organization, and this is something we truly need in order to continue to gain more members internally and be even more servants to our communities. We want to build trust with our members and future members. We want to be up to date with technology and our administrative duties regarding finances. This is about morale, retention, and this is about being dependable and, again, professional. Progressive finally being recognized by the city after being in operation for 56 years motivates members, strengthens us as a whole, and increases unity within the fire department. We are very transparent and positive, and this organization, along with other hundreds of firefighters, we've been working together to help make this fire department even better than it already is. Our organization looks forward to a continued collaboration between ourselves and City Council. We are public service at our core, but in order for us to elevate, we truly need to be recognized as a city payroll reduction for the benefit of our members and communities. Thank you.
President Nelson, by the Honorable Michael Julian Bond. President Nelson. So my child was in the language and to see stuff and understand what's going on, stuff about our question right now. I'll tell you, West Mississippi, we represent. We represent all members in the fire department. 200 I understand because we're thinking about unions and the way that we are got people you in a contract with the union. You understand what you blessing is. Yes. So hard to have this because I know how passionate you did it. Yes, about this. But I'm looking at this and I'm 6 years in the union. And this doesn't. But I appreciate you. I'll ask more questions when legislature comes up to the church. But I truly appreciate what you're doing. I like that you're organizing, you're organizing, but when you have a contract and an MOU, when you're working with the union, it's kind of hard for us, like, to support it. It's hard for us to talk to the make sure we would legal and illegal. Make sure we try to set the right side of it to the state. I think that some of these, make sure we put on the right side of the state. I'm just thinking about that. Have a conversation. I'll tell you, I think we was different from everyone. We still be more transparent.
Over to back to 9 minutes. Hey, Tonya Lewis, how you doing? Good. Okay, so I want to start my meeting off with a recording. I'm the employee. I'm back for part 3. I was wrongfully terminated for childbirth and being a whistleblower last year. I want to start off with the recording that I have on the reason why I was told I was terminated. It's going to be probably like a minute, and then I'm going to go over the package. It's got to be fast because it's the only opportunity I have to be fairly heard. And this is Giovanni Hicks and Rodney Evans speaking.
I have been tasked to let you know that today will be your last day with the municipal court.
Can anybody hear me?
We have a letter for your review that I can read to you if you would like, or you can review it. I will, if you have any questions about...
why would you do the last day? Can y'all hear me?
You're being terminated.
For what reason?
So just brief on that first, and then let's just make sure, and then I'll try to answer any questions that I can answer. I don't have a lot of information on the prior to happening, but we'll try to answer as much. But you'll get an opportunity as well if you have questions beyond what we can answer. Then you can email Dr. Billingsley or Mr. Moore, and they can shed light on what happened or why this decision was made. I think this was done a little bit before.
Prior information, even before I got here.
Yeah, before we got here, so this is kind of interpreted.
The decision was made before you all started?
The action was before we started.
And what was the reason? I just read it.
So there was an investigation that was done prior to your, I guess it started prior to your absence or your maternity leave. And the results of that investigation came back.
From last year?
I'm not exactly sure when it was because I wasn't here.
Okay, yeah, I was told it was completed.
So it was completed?
No, I was told before I returned back to work that it was completed. Can y'all hear that?
We're not able to answer that. That's why.
Okay, so what they're saying is they was terminating me for me being a whistleblower last year, and it was because of my actions. And I want to go to...
One second. Who are the voices?
They're Giovanni Hicks and Rodney Evans. Rodney Evans is the Assistant Director of HR. I want to go to page 1 if y'all have it. And this is what I've been waiting on since my last time here. From the Georgia Department of Labor, your employer fired you because you were absent from work too much. Your employer did not tell you that your attendance might cause you to lose your job. If you were not made aware of your job was in danger, you had no opportunity to correct the problem. Therefore, you can be paid unemployment benefits. Everyone that signed off on the termination letter, which was DeAndre Moore, he's right there with his head down, Rodney Evans and Tanisha Billingsley. They're all in violation of company policy 9.0 of retaliation. We're going to go to page 2, and I'm going to read the attendance policies. That relates to our attendance in data management and for the city of Atlanta. We're going to go, it's highlighted and it's red star. Employees are expected to return to work on time and maintain a strong attendance record. Late or absent employees must notify their supervisor as soon as possible. Each department will provide specific call-in procedures. Frequent or unreported lateness or absences may result in disciplinary action up to and include a dismissal. This applies to regular scheduled shift as well as overtime, holidays, and other scheduled off days. I don't have any frequent and unreported absences. We all work off Oracle. I had 100+ hours that was cashed out on my last check. All they had to do, which was HR, was pull up Oracle, being that they did get on the reason that I was wrongfully terminated, and to see that they were lying. Let's go to page 3 because I want to get through this. Page 3 is my termination letter. It states that your employment with the city of Atlanta as a court clerk is unclassified and in an at-will capacity. At the end, please inform that the city of Atlanta will end this employment relationship. They did not put in writing that they would terminate me from an investigation of last year. They did not put in writing that they would terminate me because they say I missed too many days. I was out for FMLA for having a baby. I'm entitled to that. Let's go to page 4. If these low IQ individuals were smart, they would have known to do their homework on me. They would have known to check with Christy Johnson, the assistant director Rodney Evans, who has everything in her possession regarding what took place last year. I was placed on administrative leave, page 4, August 16th. Due to the investigation that took place of me being a whistleblower. Page 5, I was called back to work after an entire change of command was terminated. I was returned back on January 9th, 2025. Let's go to page 6. I was told I was terminated due to my actions of the investigation. I brought people's actions to the carpet. There wasn't any actions of mine. If these low IQ level individuals done their homework, they would have known there's a closure letter stating, it dated May 1st, that I had to keep requesting from Christy Johnson. The investigation was closed December 2024. I had to keep requesting this letter, and the closure letter is in closing that closure of hostile work environment, anti-bullying workplace, violence, harassment, and retaliation of the investigation that I brought forth of other people's actions that was terminated. Let's go to page 7. And I'm going to speak on DeAndre Moore hiring Pamela Butts before the position came available. I only have 2 minutes left, so I can't read everything. This is an email showing that he pre-selected her before our new manager was removed. I gave him updates on him telling us to report to her when she was in a total different department when our manager was out ill. He stated, I told him, I'm not sure if you are aware, but we are reported to Randy, who steps in place when managers out or ill on vacation. I just want to clarify that with you since we last met regarding the chaos within the data management before changes were made. He responded, thank you for your email. I made the decision to make Pamela the appointed person in my absence for a specific reason. Let's go to page 8. Now, this is an email exchange, page 8, page 9, of the temporary manager, Pamela Butts, who's in place now, of our email exchange before she retaliated and told them to terminate me. We're going to speak on page 10 of the first time I ever called out when she became the manager. That's her text message. That's her phone number. It says, hey, I'm calling out for Thursday. My baby's not feeling well. If anything changed, I'll keep you posted, Julie Sanderson. On August 4th, which I got these days off before she became the manager, I got August 4th off and August 5th off in January. It states that, hey, starting Wednesday, August 6th, my schedule will change from 7:30 to 4:30. Thank you. This is only one day that I wish I had in time for it to get off. And that's on page 10. Page 11, are y'all keeping up? Okay. Page 11. Is Rodney Evans, who stated that he don't recall speaking with me when I told him if Pamela Butts become manager, I'm going to be terminated. I have our call on record. I want him to call my bluff and say I didn't say this stuff. We spoke for 15 minutes on June 27th of 2025, and that's page 11. As you see, it says Mr. Evans, Assistant Director of City of Atlanta. And the reason why I say that all of this is premeditated, they're all in cahoots with each other, After I was wrongfully terminated by DeAndre Moore, I sent Ms. Billingsley an email, like Rodney Evans stated in the email, in the voicemail. Instead of her replying back, yeah, I'll meet with you, she replies back with, thank you, Ms. Anderson. I would be more than happy to discuss. Will we be able to have a phone conversation? Also, can you tell me how you knew where I was located? Why does that matter when y'all just wrongfully terminated me and y'all got the city at they're a liability to the city? They have the mayor looking bad who's trying to be reelected. They terminated someone within 3 weeks of me coming back from FMLA. And I don't even know this lady. And were you aware that Ms. Kimberly Finley came down to confront me? She stepped in my face trying to fight because I mentioned her name on TV. Were you aware of that when you stated that she's in the back? Okay, so she came in my face. I don't see the officer that came out to ask me, was I okay? She came in my face and stated, why are you mentioning my name on TV? And she got up in my face. And I know these cameras work, and that was just last month. And I had to tell her, you at work, I'm not. This is not the right time to get in my face, the state of mind I'm at right now. And I don't believe that her superior didn't know, because she was too comfortable to come down here and do that at work while she's at work. And all I want to be is accommodated. And no one has reached out to me. I haven't heard anything from anyone. I've been given vague responses. Someone will reach out. Or, oh, we're working on it. No investigator have reached out, but Chrissy Johnson made sure an investigator reached out to me of an investigation that had nothing to do with me when I came back to work. It was someone that stated that I could have been a possible witness, and they have that investigation pending under my name. But no one has reached out, and I'll be back for my closing statement tomorrow. And I'm gonna constantly come back. You thought you can get rid of me. Now you keep your smile on your face, but you'll be served by the marshals. I will attack your pockets. Thank you.
Are you eligible for rehire?
I'm done.
But are you eligible for rehire with the city?
Oh, he placed me on non-rehire list, and he doesn't even have a reason why.
So,
he couldn't even give Jason Ingram a reason why he placed me to be on a non-rehire list.
So I do have an issue with that, because you are a young woman, and we do need to revisit that issue. You should be allowed to apply for other jobs with the city of Atlanta.
I agree.
So we will work on that issue. The other issue I will speak with the commissioner about, but I do have an issue with you being placed on the non-rehire list.
Yes.
So that is what we can deal with here.
Okay. Oh, is there anyone here from the APD? Because I want to speak on those officers that was in celebration.
Your time is up, and we have to move on.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. And can we get her information, because that is a problem. How old are you?
I'm 34.
34 and not eligible for rehire, that is a problem for me. That is a problem for me. If she did not do anything violent or anything with theft, she should not be on not eligible for rehire. I have worked with the city for many years, and that has haunted really good people. She's only 34 years old. She should not be on the not eligible for rehire list. That is an issue for me. Commissioner Blackburn, that is an issue. That is an issue that she's on non-eligible for rehire with the city of Atlanta, because we have thousands of positions, and that is a problem. That is a problem that we need to address. She should not be on that list if she did not do anything violent. She should be allowed to apply for other city jobs. So I will be sending a letter to you regarding that. That's very serious. And when we are in positions of power, we still have to rule with compassion. She's only 34 years old, and she has not eligible for rehire on her list. That makes me want to look further into her case.
Yes.
Thank you. The Honorable Antonio Lewis, followed by the Honorable Ishe Collins, followed by the Honorable Michael Julian Bond.
And I hate when you have to come down here.
Yes.
I knew that once Councilmember Boone truly heard what you were saying, I knew she would lead, and I'm willing to follow her in ways that we need to.
Yes.
their experience, the institutional knowledge that Councilmember Boone has, I knew that if you were able to talk to her and talk to all us as a whole, that we would lead and we would fight this the right way. I know you said that the last time you came in and we brought in someone from HR, and they talked to you. What happened?
She got in my face where we could have kissed nose to nose and said, why you would mentioning my name on TV when all I've done was emailed you back. And I said, did you hear what I said? All I said was y'all was promoted or even hired off me being a whistleblower, which is true. If I wasn't a whistleblower, they would not be here. These people still be in position.
Let me move on to the next speaker. Are you
okay? Go ahead.
Let me move on to the next speaker.
You're welcome.
Honorable Isha. My issue is you're not eligible for rehire. We need to stay real focused.
That's my
because
issue.
that's very serious.
Yeah.
We don't need all that.
Okay.
But you're 34 years old. That's a serious problem that you have right now. All this is fine because we have other jobs that you could apply for.
Oh, yeah.
But if you're not eligible for rehire, that is an issue.
Yes.
So let's, the Honorable Isha Collins.
Okay.
So yeah, my questions just kind of revolve around, I know you provided us a lot of information. I was just trying to understand, maybe the law department can help us with this, and what recourse are you trying to pursue? Are you trying to, are you trying to continue to work for the city of Atlanta?
I've been with the city for 5 years, municipal court 3 years.
Okay.
My only recommendation is I be accommodated to be reinstated and placed back on payroll until they're done, until they're ready to investigate this matter.
Okay, so that was just that was my question and understanding.
Yeah.
Because there are, and I know the rehire list and those procedures is something different, but just looking at everything, it seems like you don't have civil service rights enacted because you haven't been here for 10 years.
Yes.
Georgia is an at-will state based, and I'm just showing what you just showed us.
Yeah.
The acknowledgement form, the acknowledgement sign-off sheet you acknowledged in terms of the attendance policy, it's a lot here, and I appreciate you sharing this, and I appreciate you sharing this audio. I do think, there's coordination with departmental law in this space. I don't know if it's our purview to dictate whether they rehire you or not.
I don't want to go back.
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, but you come here often, and you brought us a lot of information here, and in full transparency is not a good look in this space, understanding the employment laws of this state. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to put that out there to defer in terms of whatever happens in this space, and let us know how we can support you as a constituent just based on what you're showing us. I expressed reservations in oneness because I did not want you to put yourself in a self-incriminating space, but I'm concerned about it. So I'll defer to it in that space, and then we'll just, I'll follow up with our chair in terms of how we can support. So I'll leave that there.
That's cool.
Yeah. I do want to hear from the Honorable Michael Julian Bond, then I have a question.
Okay.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you for bringing your concerns to us.
You're welcome.
It's always extremely disturbing when we have employees that come to any of our committees or to public comment to talk about how they've been treated or even allege that they've been mistreated by other city employees. If you are here long enough, you find out that there are a lot of either inappropriate or mistakes made in the management of the people who work for the city of Atlanta. And it is extremely disturbing to me because if we have someone who is considered under some level of whistleblower status that ultimately helps the city when we find out things that are not appropriately going on, that they in turn find themselves, and you're not the first, that find themselves, in trials and tribulations after the fact. One of the things I want to specifically ask you to do is to share your audio with our staff.
Okay.
Whether you text or email, so that we have a complete record of everything that has transpired.
Okay.
And I want to also, I agree with Councilmember Collins. You need to do what you need to do to protect yourself individually as this goes forward. And I think it is appropriate for the law department to look into this matter because, at this very moment, I am aware of other parts of HR and other departments and other employees that are being harassed. There's no other way to phrase it, right?
Yes.
So, and I just want to caution everyone who's listening, who works for the city of Atlanta or is, we're not here for ourselves. We're here to serve the public. We're not here for vendettas. We're not here for get-backs. We're not here to grandiose, ourselves. We're here to serve the public. And these types of episodes do not serve the public.
Yes.
Period.
Yes.
Because if what you allege is true, right?
Yes.
And you were terminated because you were pregnant, that's a huge lawsuit.
Yeah.
For the city of Atlanta, potentially, So this isn't good. It's not a good look for anyone that's involved. And it's really, frankly, an embarrassment that we have to deal with departments or people in departments that conduct themselves or find themselves involved in this way. So I'm going to ask you to pass that information on so we have a complete package.
Okay.
I would, as a constituent, I would advise you, if you haven't already gotten some legal counsel, to do so. And I would encourage the law department to look into this issue thoroughly.
Thank you.
So that this can be discouraged if it is found that our employees are at fault, right? That it is discouraged throughout all of our departments that people who come to work for the city, they work for the city, but they work for the people of the city that are not treated this way in service to the public. Thank you.
Thank you.
I wanted to ask the law department, under what circumstances does the code allow for not eligible for rehire with the city? Could you give us some instances on that? Because that is very disturbing to me.
Good afternoon, Amber A. Robinson, City of Atlanta Department of Law. Be happy to look into that as some instances and some examples of when that has been applied in the past and provide that to you.
Thank you very much. We're going to look into that. I think we have your phone number.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Okay. This brings us to the presentation. We will make an adjustment to our agenda. We will first hear from Atlanta Police Department Deputy Jason Smith, and then we will take our legislative items because we would like to keep a quorum, and then we will proceed with our 2 reports for today. Great to see you, Deputy. You're looking great. Welcome back.
Here.
Welcome.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here. Great to see all of you. I missed it up here, so I'm happy to be back. So as we're moving into the end of the year, especially moving into the holiday season in a couple of weeks, just going to hit a few high points of where we are crime-wise and kind of where we're headed. We're down 7% for the year. Very happy about that. 21% down from last week, week to week. So we're happy about that also. What we're seeing is homicides continue to be down. We're down 28% year to date. Our shootings are also down 14% year to date, which we're happy to see. Now we are readjusting some resources because we're up a bit in robberies and we're up a bit in aggravated assaults. Although I will say the aggravated assaults overall are down 3% over the past 2 months. So we're trending in the right direction as we kind of close out the year. And the aggravated assaults, I would point to, we're seeing a lot of escalating disputes, right? A lot of road rage incidents, a lot of I know you, you know me, but we have a disagreement, and then things escalate into an aggravated assault, and of course our domestic violence situations. So we're continuing to mitigate those as we see and make arrests when appropriate. I do want to touch on one case that was fantastic work by the department over the past couple of days. This was on October 10th. Just hang with me for a minute. I know we're already running long on time, but I just want to get through this because I think it's really important to show the kind of work that APD puts in on a day-to-day basis. So this was on October 10th, and we had some ACE officers, which is our Auto Crimes Enforcement. They were driving around Peachtree and Forsyth on patrol when they heard several gunshots. They immediately were flagged down by a citizen who reported that a vehicle was driving through the area and shooting at random individuals. And so they coordinated some other units, started hitting the area. They were interviewing another witness when a canine officer observed the suspect vehicle fleeing from the scene. It was a Chevy Suburban around Castleberry and Ted Turner. Officers began following the vehicle, keeping radio advised of the direction of travel. The vehicle continued recklessly on I-20, endangering motorists and law enforcement by nearly striking multiple vehicles. At one point, the driver even attempted to reverse on the interstate. So you can see how this situation was rapidly evolving. It was getting more dangerous by the moment. The vehicle was later discovered abandoned in Zone 4 on Lee Street. They began investigating, began using our camera system and our surveillance apparatus, and they were able to track the suspect's movement on foot. They developed a nexus between the vehicle and the suspect that was identified, and they were able to find out where he resided. As they were going along his movement on foot, they found a discarded firearm, a 9mm Smith & Wesson, which was in the rear of a parking lot just left there next to a Bank of America. This was consistent with the path of flight that they had observed. They conducted a knock and talk at an apartment, and they made contact with a family member, and then found out he was inside the residence and were able to take him into custody without incident. Again, we leveraged technology, inter-unit collaboration. We had a lot of officers out there hunting for this person who was, again, randomly firing shots in Zone 5 in our Midtown area. He was charged with aggravated assault on law enforcement, possession, 32-cycle convicted felon, possession of firearm by a convicted felon, discharging a firearm near a highway, possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony. Also had a suspended license, of course, because as we know, criminals don't follow really any laws when they're in this deep, and also obedience to traffic control devices, fleeing and eluding, among others. So that was a great job in Zone 5 over the past couple of days. A very dangerous situation that turned out okay. Also over the weekend, we had Georgia State University had their homecoming. Also, several high schools had their homecoming. We coordinated with APS as we normally do, had a very good plan in place. There was no incidents to report, thankfully. Fall break is this week, so our PAL is in full effect. We have midnight basketball Tuesday and Thursday. They've also extended to Saturday and Sunday. And then we have 3 football teams that'll be practicing all week. We have one for 8 and under, one for 10 and under, one for 12 and under, 24 kids per team, and we have 13 cheerleaders to support them all. Those are all going on this week. Plus, we have the At Promise Centers are open and waiting for people. I do want to touch on the very successful Pride Parade that we had this over the weekend, and the festival that was all weekend long in Piedmont Park. Happy to report there was no incidents, no violence that we can report. It was a safe event, and we had a huge influx of crowds to the city. I know we saw some of you all there, so it was a great time. And then I do want to touch on the MLK Center vandalism. That gentleman was arrested for trying to tamp out and damage the eternal flame that was at the site. That individual has been identified as just happened to be an intoxicated person who was a little bit out of control, way out of control. But he has no connection to any hatred groups or any radical political positions so far that we've investigated. So he was arrested, and the DA was made aware of that situation. And after the Pride Festival, I do want to remind everybody that Crime is Toast tomorrow at 7 a.m. Of course, that's where our yearly recognition of our works of compassion and courage from officers and civilians throughout the department. So it's always a great time. If you guys haven't RSVP'd and you want to, just contact me. We can make it happen. And if not, we'll see you there tomorrow morning. That's about all I have for the report out. I'm happy to take any questions that you all have as we move into the end of the year. I do want to point out one thing as we talked about the robberies. Facebook exchange, things selling people online. We now have signage at all of our precincts, and we encourage members of the public to, anytime they're selling something or if they want to do a child custody exchange, you're more than welcome to use our police precinct parking lots. We encourage that, and we want that. So if you could please pass that along to your constituents, we'd appreciate it.
The Honorable Antonio Lewis.
Two things. This weekend I had a uptick of, and you can look into it for me, an uptick of car issues in my district. Not car break-ins, but on Jonesboro Road and Hutchins Road and School Drive, we had like some cars burning out on Friday night about 8:30 p.m.
Okay.
Can you look into that, and can you let me know if we're having that same issue they're having in other counties and other cities now in my area?
Yes, I can. We have a very robust street racing response, and we do a lot of investigative work on the back end to kind of try to foresee these events, and then we encourage anybody, if they're hearing burnouts, if they are seeing it, to call us right away. But yes, sir, I'll see if we had any 911 calls or any officers that were in the area. So Jonesboro Road area?
Yeah, Jonesboro Road, School Drive, and Hutchins Drive. They switch names on both sides of the street.
Yeah, I know exactly. I know exactly what you're talking about.
And my neighbors said they saw the person, and they had kids out there. So to do it on that small of an area, let's try to get as much as a handle on that as possible. And I know Zone 3 can't do it, because my next hope that you can help out with is if we can open up Zone 3 police precinct doors. My goal is to, and something you can start working on, the doors to because you say people should put up at the police precinct to make exchanges or to do certain
we have
things.
signage out front and at parking spaces that they can pull into and use.
Yeah, but when you get to the police precinct, let's say if we don't have enough people that day to have a person sitting down at the bottom, because that does happen there. Let's say that the door, because if you need help, you should be able to run into the police station. That's what I would think.
Well, we do have to keep some security in place. We try to have somebody at the front desk whenever possible, so nobody's ever waiting at the front door, and then we can answer right away. There is still a buzzer system that they can buzz in, and they will be let in immediately.
And my request is, if we can, similar to other, I want to move around the city to see other police stations, because I haven't been able to walk to all of them. Sure. But if we could, I want to be able to do the same thing they're able to do on other police stations, so I'll go around and look at them. But typically, my whole life, I grew up, the police precinct, the one we used to have in the Summer Hill area, the door was always open until they tried to take over that precinct and they put up the barricades out front. But the door, if we can have the door open, I just know constituents that may need to go in there. Myself, if someone was chasing me down Metropolitan Parkway and I needed to go to the police precinct, the door is locked. Sometimes nobody's even sitting down there, something we both know. And so my goal and my hope is if we can open up the doors to the police precinct.
We can revisit that, but again, I would have to go to our operational security and especially at the police precincts. We have had some incidents of people trying to nefarious things taking place and trying to damage police precincts and damaging cars in the parking lot and things of that nature. So we do have to protect our employees also.
So the front door is locked?
Some of the front, yes. Well, there's not locked. It's access from security. Usually there's a camera or buzzer out front and they can buzz right in. And we have somebody at the front desk waiting.
That's not always true. So my hope is that, and I'll let it go after that, my hope is that we can, the police precinct, I need it to be open. I need for it to be as safe as possible. People in my community are looking for officer friendly. I actually heard that this
Absolutely.
weekend.
Look, we are all about community engagement and community service. That's what we're here for.
And the request that the council person is asking, because I'm hearing it from our community, is if they can go into the police precinct. For example, if a person is making a exchange outside in those designated parking spots, if the police precinct is locked, or if you've moved people from our police precinct to other spaces in the city, or if our police precinct does not have the amount of people it needs for that day, they won't have a person at the bottom. And so if my nephew or myself was out selling or making an exchange and something went wrong, I couldn't get in the police precinct to get the help. So my request is for Zone 3 to get their front door open. Thank you again.
Yes, sir.
Any other? Oh, the Honorable Ishe Collins.
Really, two questions. Well, one incident to put on you guys' radar to look out for, and then also just something about the question about the report. The first piece, if officers can check or go by Williams Borders Senior Drive, it's at the corner of Edgewood. It's at the corner of Edgewood and Borders Seniors Drive, where the Wheat Street Retirement Home is. There's a lot of there's been a few reports reports of drug activity in that area, in addition to misconduct, fins and feathers in the restaurants in that area, and also the signage that needs to be put there. So if you just have the officers that in that space check that one-way street. We've got a few of the seniors approached me and a couple of the council members at the seniors ball on Saturday. So I just wanted to make sure I
Absolutely,
make that promise clear.
I'll get with Zone 6 leadership and make sure that
Okay.
make that happen.
All right, great. And then in terms of the reports, so one thing I did notice, we're entering the fourth quarter of the year. The biggest increases that we're seeing across the board, across the entire city and in all of our zones is an increase of robberies, shoplifting, and aggravated assaults that you mentioned earlier. Is there some trend that we're seeing, because every zone has experienced this? Is it something that we need, I mean, with these being, with robbery and shoplifting being theft crimes, is it something that security will be increased because we're getting ready to enter the holiday months? What is just
Yes, we always increase our we always have a holiday plan coming into the holidays where we increase our patrols. Everybody's in uniform, and we do pay attention to those crimes that are upward. I would like to say the aggravated assaults, not to be confused, shootings and aggravated assaults. While shooting is an aggravated assault, those are in fact down. The aggravated assaults are up, and what we see in aggravated assaults so far, as I touched on it earlier, is those escalating disputes among people that know each other and the domestic violence incidences. So we are working to reduce those. We are looking at people with outstanding warrants, especially in the DV space, to make sure that those situations don't escalate further. Yes, and robberies, I would say the biggest trend that we're seeing is people again, selling stuff on the marketplace and then going to a location and then getting robbed of those items that they were selling. Shoplifting, Shoplifting is, of course, contingent upon cooperation with some of our external partners and them reporting to us, and then what's their security plan when they do have shoplifters. We've worked very closely with some of our people that have had kind of crews working against them. I don't want to give away any operational stuff, but I'm happy to talk about that kind of stuff offline and kind of the steps that we're taking to kind of mitigate some of those issues that we're seeing.
Okay, absolutely. Definitely the robberies, because, it looks like we'll probably surpass some of these numbers, hopefully not. But if it's trending the way it's trending by the end of this year, those would be our the largest increases that we'll see. So whatever we can do to support ensuring that,
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We're working closely with our detectives also in the robbery unit, and with making sure our bolos are distributed and we're in the right spaces.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Deputy. Thank you, and it's great again to see you.
You too.
As well. For the viewing public in the audience today, we do have our Fire Chief Rod Smith. We have Chief of Corrections Elder Dancy. We have Chief Judge Christopher Ward in the house, if you would raise your hand. And also we have our City of Atlanta City Attorney, Ms. Patrice Perkins Hooker. Mr. Overton, can we continue with our agenda at this point?
Yes, ma'am.
And then we will come back to our presentations.
Madam Chair, this brings us to our consent agenda. We'll first have to take action on our favorable claims.
Can we have a motion to approve the favorable claims?
So moved.
Second.
Seconded by the Honorable Antonio Lewis. Please open the vote.
My apologies.
Vote is open. Vote is closed. 5 yeas, 0 nays. The favorable claims have been approved.
Can we have a motion to adverse the unfavorable claims? Seconded by the Honorable Antonio Lewis. Please open the vote.
One moment. Vote is open. Vote is closed. 5 yeas, 0 nays. The unfavorable claims have been adversed. Madam Chair, this brings us to our regular agenda, starting with ordinances for a second reading. Item number 1, 25-01537, an ordinance by Public Safety and Legal Administration Committee authorizing the mayor or his designee to accept on behalf of the Atlanta Fire Rescue Department a donation from the Atlanta Urban Area Security Initiative of one 2024 Ford F-650 valued at approximately $121,087.21 to be accepted as of December 13th, 2024 for special operations use within the Atlanta Fire Rescue Department and for other purposes.
I will move approval.
Second.
Seconded by the Honorable Ishe Collins. Please open the vote.
Vote is open. Vote is closed. 5 yeas, 0 nays. The item is favorable. This brings us to item number 2, 25-01538, an ordinance by Public Safety and Legal Administration Committee amending the 2025 Intergovernmental Grant Fund budget by adding to anticipations and appropriations in the amount of $8,290.00 on behalf of the Atlanta Fire Rescue Department for the purpose of funding the Trauma-Related Equipment Grant Program developed by the Atlanta Fire Rescue Department and for other purposes.
So moved. Moved by the Honorable Antonio Lewis, seconded by the Honorable Ishe Collins. Please open the vote.
Vote is open. Can all council members please vote? Vote is closed. 5 yeas, 0 nays. The item is favorable. This brings us to item number 3, 25-01549, an ordinance by Councilmember Andrea L. Boone authorizing the Chief Financial Officer to pay outstanding invoices in the amount not to exceed $432,508.86 for contract number listed herein for vehicle rental with Enterprise Leasing Company of Georgia LLC, utilizing State of Georgia statewide contract number listed herein. On behalf of the Atlanta Police Department, all contracted work will be charged to and paid from the fund department organization and account numbers listed herein and for other purposes.
Move approval.
Second.
Seconded by the Honorable Mary Norwood. Please open the vote.
Vote is open. Vote is closed. 5 yeas, 0 nays. The item is favorable. Madam Chair, this brings us to item number 4. We do have a request to substitute this item.
Do we have a motion to bring forth the substitute?
Motion. Oh, yeah. I make a motion.
Second.
Vote is open. Vote is closed. 5 yeas, 0 nays. Substitute is before the body. This is, for the record, the substitute for this item expands legislation from solely recognizing the Progressive Firefighters of Atlanta Labor Organization for payroll deduction to a broader amendment of Section 114-28 of the Code, giving Chief Financial Officer the authority to establish administrative standards for all labor organizations seeking to deductions while still waiving the rules immediately to allow the PFF-ATL's deduction for its members. So this is item number 4, 25-01550. One moment. An ordinance by Councilmember Andrea L. Boone, as substituted by the Public Safety and Legal Administration Committee, to amend the Code of Ordinances, City of Atlanta, Georgia, Chapter 114, Personnel, Article 2, Compensation, Payroll, Deductions, and Charitable Contributions, Division 1 generally, Section 114-28, Deduction of Labor Organization Dues from Salaries, to provide that the Chief Financial Officer shall have the authority to promulgate administrative standards pursuant to which labor organizations would be eligible to have the city deduct dues payable to its member employees through payroll and for other purposes.
Move approval.
Second.
Vote is open. Vote is closed. 4 yeas, 1 abstention. The item is approved as substituted.
Are you abstaining?
The Honorable Antonio Lewis.
And I want to speak to my vote. I'll be reaching out to the North Georgia Labor Council. I'll also be reaching out to many of my other union partners to get as much information as possible around this. I see a form of union busting going on right now. I'm going to make sure I reach out to ASME as well, ASME International, to get as much information as possible. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. I'm thinking about my ASME folks and my PACE folks who already have contracts. I'm also thinking about other unions that have tried to come into the city of Atlanta and tried to organize their entire workers, even though they already have MOUs with the city of Atlanta. As a union man, it's hard for me to vote for this, so I abstained until I get more information. Thank you.
Is that a basis for abstention?
Yes.
No.
Abstain for any reason.
Department of Law.
Good afternoon, Amber A. Robinson, City of Atlanta Department of Law and Committee. A member may abstain for any reason, unlike during full council where there must be a conflict of interest.
Got it. Mr. Overton, please move forward.
Madam Chair, we do, there is a request to refer this item to Finance Exec as it does involve, just due to the nature of the item.
Okay.
We have a motion to refer this to Finance Exec Committee.
A motion to refer this to the Finance Committee. Second. Seconded by the Honorable Ishay Collins. Please open the vote.
Vote is open. Vote is closed. 4 yeas, 1 nay. The item has been referred to Finance Exec Committee. Madam Chair, this brings us to our resolutions. If there are no objections, may we take items number 5 through 12 as a block?
Yes. Please proceed, Mr. Overton.
Item number 5, 25R4068, a resolution by Public Safety and Legal Administration Committee authorizing the settlement of the case of the City of Atlanta as successor in interest to Thomas Pruitt, doing business as Muse Development Company v. Massage C/O, Bow Tring State Court of Fulton County, Georgia, CAFN 23DD00345, authorizing the Chief Financial Officer to deposit funds received by the City of Atlanta from Massage CO Bow Tring in the amount of $49,141.33 in the settlement of all of the city's claims against Massage C/O Bow Trin in the lawsuit in the Fund Department Organization and account numbers listed herein and for other purposes. Item number 6, 25R4069, a resolution by Public Safety and Legal Administration Committee authorizing the settlement of all claims against the defendant City of Atlanta in the case of Curtis Guyden v. City of Atlanta, civil action file number 23EV004225, pending the State Court of Fulton County in the amount of $20,000.00, authorizing the settlement amount to be charged to and paid from the account number listed herein and for other purposes. Item number 7, 25R4070, a resolution by Public Safety and Legal Administration Committee authorizing the settlement of all claims against the defendant City of Atlanta in the case of Deandra Cook v. City of Atlanta, civil action file number 25EV000883, pending the State Court of Fulton County in the amount of $48,000.00, the settlement amount, authorizing the settlement amount to be charged to and paid from the account number listed herein and for other purposes. Item number 8, 25R4071, a resolution by Public Safety and Legal Administration Committee authorizing the settlement of all claims against the defendant City of Atlanta in the case of Donovan Dodds v. Gamble Walter and City of Atlanta, civil action file number 24EV006709, pending the State Court of Fulton County in the amount of $25,000.00, the settlement amount, authorizing the settlement amount to be charged to and paid from the account number listed herein and for other purposes. Item number 9. Item number 9, 25R4072, a resolution by Public Safety and Legal Administration Committee authorizing the settlement of all claims against the City of Atlanta in the case of Progressive Premier Insurance Company of Illinois, ASO Janae L. Miller, file number 1442-Lock GA v. City of Atlanta, civil action file number 25EV000679, pending the State Court of Fulton County, State of Georgia, in the amount of $4,904.67, the settlement amount, authorizing the settlement amount to be charged to and paid from account numbers listed herein and for other purposes. Item number 10, 25R4073, a resolution by Public Safety and Legal Administration Committee authorizing the settlement of all claims against the defendant City of Atlanta in the case of Samuel Galloway v. City of Atlanta, civil action file number 24 EV006133, pending in the state court in Fulton County in the amount of $75,000.00. The settlement amount, authorizing the settlement amount to be charged to and paid from the account number listed herein and for other purposes. Item number 11, 25R4074, a resolution by Public Safety and Legal Administration Committee authorizing the settlement of all claims against the City of Atlanta in the case of State Farm Fire and Casualty Company as subrogee of Tanieka Bryan v. City of Atlanta, civil action file number 24 EV009936, pending in the state court of Fulton County, Georgia, in the amount of $12,266.87. The settlement amount, authorizing the settlement amount to be charged to and paid from the account numbers listed herein and for other purposes. And finally, item number 12, 25R4075, a resolution by Public Safety and Legal Administration Committee authorizing the settlement amount of all claims against the City of Atlanta in the case of Delicia Lowry Barksdale v. City of Atlanta, civil action file number 25CV004924, pending in the Superior Court of Fulton County, amount of $205,000.00. The settlement amount, authorizing the settlement amount to be charged to and paid from the account number listed herein and for other purposes.
Move approval. Seconded by the Honorable Michael Julian Bond. Please open the vote.
Vote is open. Vote is closed. 5 yeas, 0 nays. The items are favorable. This brings us to item number 13, 25R4076, a resolution by Public Safety and Legal Administration Committee authorizing the Chief Financial Officer to deposit the amount of $15,000.00 payable to the City of Atlanta in the settlement of all claims asserted against the City of Atlanta in the claim brought by Rodney Hill Jr., doing business as Hill Development LLC, and for other purposes.
Move approval.
Second.
Please open the vote.
Vote is open. Vote is closed. 5 yeas, 0 nays. The item is favorable. This brings us to item number 14. Madam Chair, we do have a request to substitute this item.
Motion to bring forth the substitute at this time. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by the Honorable Mary Norwood. Please open the vote.
Vote is open. Vote is closed. 5 yeas, 0 nays. The substitute is before the body. For the record, the substitute changes legislation from amending the code to require 4-person staffing on all Atlanta fire rescue apparatuses to instead requesting the fire chief adopt these as staffing standards. So this is item number 14, 25R4082, a resolution by Councilmember Michael Julian Bond as substituted by the Public Safety and Legal Administration Committee to request that the chief of the Atlanta Fire Rescue Department adopt staffing standards which would provide that all engine companies and ladder/truck companies of the Atlanta Fire Rescue Department be staffed with a minimum of 4 personnel per apparatus per shift, to request that the fire chief provide procedures when on-duty personnel are not available, but to allow limited exemptions for companies under extreme circumstances and for other purposes.
The Honorable Mary Norwood. Then we do have our fire chief here. If you all have any other additional questions. The Honorable Mary Norwood.
My request is to change this from a resolution to an ordinance.
Thank you. Can we hear from the law department?
Move my second.
The law department.
Good afternoon, Amber A. Robinson, City of Atlanta Department of Law. Due to the notice requirements in the charter for legislation, it's not possible to substitute a resolution for an ordinance or vice versa. So an ordinance could be introduced and separately, but one cannot replace another. Though I will state that this was examined whether or not this action could be taken pursuant to an ordinance prior to this committee meeting, and it was the determination of Department of Law that should this action be done as an ordinance, it would conflict with the mayor's powers under the charter, specifically 3-104 of the charter, which provides the mayor with purview concerning the supervision over administration of departments of the city. And so, not to speak for the sponsor, but I believe that is why it may have been read in as a resolution to avoid any conflict with the city's charter.
Then I withdraw my request for an amendment. And move approval.
Chief, could you come on up? Chief, let Chief come on up.
Good afternoon, Chairman Boone, members of the council. Thank you for allowing me to come up and speak to this. First, I'd like to say that there was no conversation had with the department, myself, nor the leadership prior to this legislation. So let me describe to you a little differently what's going on as it relates to NFPA 1710. 1710 or NFPA is a recommendation. It is a guideline for sworn fire departments as well as civilian fire departments. I can assure you that the decisions that are made by myself and the leadership team, we don't take for granted the safety of this city or the safety of our firefighters. I've been doing this for 32 years, and I've been promoted through every testable and appointed rank with the exception of first deputy. As it relates to firefighter safety, I've been burned twice in the city, and I spent time in the burn ward. So I don't take for granted the safety of our firefighters as well. When we look at our staffing model, which has been validated by our ISO rating, which we received in December, and our reaccredited status that we got in the spring of this year, those were external agencies that came in and they looked at all of our staffing numbers, they looked at our equipment, they looked at the training levels of our members. Our members are dedicated to serving the citizens of Atlanta, like I am. And this, I will tell you, and I would ask and plead with you, don't make staffing an operational department for the city of Atlanta political. This is a political ploy to take over the operations of the department, and the department is doing everything we can to humanly provide the services to the city of Atlanta to the best of our ability. And it's an attribute and a tribute to the men and women that are getting on in those trucks every single day and running those calls. And you see them in your communities. Even when there are no emergencies going on, they're in your communities and they are serving. And this would undermine our ability to manage those resources. But I will reiterate that even though it is a recommendation, Atlanta Fire Rescue is meeting the conditions of the spirit of 1710, which governs how many people should be on the scene to actively manage a call. We are exceeding those numbers.
Thank you, Chief. We have been asked to request Mr. Nate Bailey to come to the microphone.
Afternoon, Council. Nate Bailey, President of the Atlanta Professional Firefighters, the bargaining unit for all Atlanta firefighters. This legislation is very, very important, and it needs to be an ordinance if it can be. Other cities have waited until there's disasters, and then they put in 4 and 4. In Charleston, they lost 9 firefighters. One of the first recommendations was 4 and 4. In Massachusetts, they just buried a bunch of senior citizens, and now they're putting 4 and 4. Miami, Memphis, Charlotte, every major city in the Southeast, it's 4 and 4. Some larger cities, it's 4 and 5. The City of Atlanta Fire Rescue Department hasn't had every engine and truck in service since November of 2021. It's been 4 of the deadliest years we've ever had on record. 8 citizens have burned to death in their homes this year. The body count is high. If we're going to run short, probably for the next 2 years in the Atlanta Fire Rescue Department, we need to put as many people as we can on those trucks. Now, our people are crying out. They want help. They want people on the trucks. If we can do this as an ordinance, it allows leeway. It doesn't say you're going to take a truck out of service. All it says is the chief of the department has to attempt to hire up to 4. Now, there's something else we should really be fighting for right now, but we had to park that to worry about staffing. The number one reason for a labor organization is safety. Now, if we can put 4 on the truck, we can prevent a funeral. If we don't, we might be asking you for 6 so we can lower the casket into the ground. Okay, DeKalb just buried a firefighter. You're going to see a push for staffing all across the Southeast. It's not a political ploy. Actually, right now is the time that I wouldn't want to do anything. Like right now is a time when you don't want to do anything. You just want to chill out and let everything pass. We got to have this. It's 2 in, 2 out. You can't have 2 in, 2 out if you don't have 4 on the truck. And I'm going to give you all some incidents to really pull at your heartstrings, okay? There was a Buckhead resident, first due engine out of service. They didn't make it. They couldn't get him out of the house fire in time. Kirkwood, East Atlanta, first due truck out of service, lost in a house fire. Southwest Atlanta. You want to talk about legacy residents and talking about our taking care of them? Who dies in fires the most? It's legacy residents. You know what traumatizes our firefighters the most? Finding an 80-year-old woman with the key still in her hand behind that double deadbolt, and she's trying to put the key in, and she takes that one breath of superheated smoke, and then our truck company pops the door and finds her there. We're asking for 2 in, 2 out. I can't believe that I'm having to push for this. You know, we haven't got into the pay plan that wasn't. We haven't got into everything else that's going on. And I'm sorry I don't have my members here. But when anyone's seen with me, they get charges. Okay? The retaliation is real. It's real. And I had a bunch of young members who wanted to come down here today, and I said, don't do it. I said, I trust our council and our administration enough that they will support 4 and 4 staffing. And let's talk about the budget item. The chief of the department doesn't budget for 27 engines and 10 trucks. He budgets for 31 engines and 14 ladder trucks. Now, every day there's trucks out of service. He also budgeted for overtime. This should be neutral. If you have 16 available people because the units are out of service, move them over to the apparatus and try to hire up to 4. All we're asking for is to give us a better chance of not dying. When Stephen Solomon was killed in Atlanta in 2006, every engine and truck had 4 and 4. You can do everything right in the fire service and still end up dead. All we're asking for is give us the best chance to not die. And you know, every single one of our chief officers would do the same thing. They're going to try to make the rescue. Like the chief said, he came up through the ranks. I guarantee you, Chief Smith was in a position where he didn't have enough people and he didn't have enough equipment, and guess what? They made the attempt. And firefighters have been hurt doing that. All we're asking for is to give us the best shot to succeed. This is a legacy item for this administration and Chief Smith. Put it in concrete in the charter, and I respect our law department. They've helped us out with many things. If we can get it in the charter, let's put it in concrete, in iron, so no future chief or mayor can take it away from us. We're trying to prevent funerals. Thank you.
The Honorable Mary Norwood.
Well, that was compelling, and I had asked that this be an ordinance. I understand that it cannot be, so I will support the resolutions. I make a motion to approve.
The Honorable Ishe Collins. Can we hear from the speakers? The Honorable Ishe Collins.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Just a couple of questions I have just listening to it. So you stated in 2006 that we were at 4 and 4, but we're no longer there. What was the guidance or what changed that?
For the technical questions, I'll leave it to the fire chief, but he can come up and speak on this. Here's the reason we had 4 and 4. Mayor Shirley Franklin hired 300 people in 2 years. She started the paramedic engine program. There was a huge advancement in mass hiring. When we're fully staffed, when the Atlanta Fire Rescue Department is fully staffed, we might run 4 and 5. We're making strides in the fire department. The chief and the mayor, everybody's advertising. They're trying to hire people. Until you get hired up, you got to hire overtime to backfill. Truthfully, with the current vacancy rate in the fire department, chief can try to hire as many people as he wants. He might only get 5 on those 10 ladder trucks that remain in service. But I can tell you, every battalion chief in the city has called me begging for this. They're begging for it. A Sunday, a few weeks ago, we had 3 on Engine 1, downtown Atlanta, on a Falcon Sunday with a brand new firefighter riding in charge. The chief called me and said, hey man, this ain't good. Do we want to take care of the problem first? Or do we all want to meet at the funeral home saying, man, we should have done something about it? With this, how much the staffing has been in the news and the apparatus, how can the city not jump on this one? This is a freebie. This is easy. And it gives the chief the leeway. If nobody wants to work, we tried. We tried to hire up. But if you put one extra firefighter on truck 1 in downtown Atlanta, and there's a mass casualty incident at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, more lives are going to be saved, I promise you. So to answer your question, Ms. Collins, I apologize.
You know, it's fine. No, I appreciate that. Yeah.
So when you have fully staffed fire department, you don't have to hire overtime. It's very minimal.
Got it.
But right now with the vacancy rate, the best way to fill is to hire overtime. Any more questions?
No, just have a question for Chief, for Chief Smith. So with that, and this is my last question. I mean, definitely we all know that staffing is an issue, and I understand that this is a priority as well. Chief, can you give us more, paint a picture for us in terms of the number of vacancies that we currently have now? Because I can only imagine for us to even be able to meet the 4-to-4 piece, we got to hire and pay our people competitively. And so I think they work hand in hand as well, where I do support the resolution, but I also want to make sure that we are addressing the root of the issue as well. So can't expect for you to staff at a space that we don't have the people to do that. Can you tell us more about the staffing issues as well?
So the staffing for Atlanta Fire and Rescue right now, based on our hiring, is roughly, we are about 85% fully staffed, which leaves us roughly about 100 to 105 vacancies in which the administration has approved, and we are continuing to hire. So to add a little more context about arriving on the scene and what can be done, we've pulled every single fire that we've had in the last year. Every single fire that we've had in the last year. And the response time for the first piece of equipment is roughly 5 to 6 minutes. 4 people is our staffing model for each engine. Now, when we don't meet that staffing number, it's because we don't have members that are willing to work the overtime days. We utilize the overtime because our priority is to make sure that we have 4 members on each engine and 3 members on each ladder. That still puts us or helps us to exceed the NFPA 1710. But our goal is to make sure daily that we try to put 4 and 3 in place to respond to the calls. And so having 4 people on that engine, that allows them to put that life safety first and to make those decisions and to make that decision to go in and to save somebody if necessary. 1 additional person is going to equate to an overtime day times 14, which is putting an extra person on every ladder truck. That 1 person is not going to change the outcome of any fire call when you're sending 25 to 40 people to a call.
And so how many fire calls versus EMS calls you have? Because fire also responds to EMS as well, correct? Okay.
So if you look at the total call volume for the city, we run roughly close to 100,000 calls a year. Fires represent less than 1% of that call volume. The overwhelming majority of our calls, which is 50 to 60%, are EMS calls.
So you're saying 1,000 of 100,000, only 1,000 calls are actual fire calls?
If that many, it's less than 1%.
So the bulk of it is, okay.
The overwhelming majority of it is EMS and service calls secondly.
Got it. Thank you.
The Honorable Antonio Lewis.
Thank you. I was listening to key terms and I started looking them up. 2x2, 4-and-4, and because of AI now, everything comes up how it's supposed to. And so what I saw about those terms are real. The 2 in, 2 out. That's a OSHA requirement. I want to make sure I speak right on these. So the 2 in, 2 out rule, that's an OSHA, that's an OSHA-based rule. And so it says that you can't do 2 in, 2 out without having 4. It says that the 710 that you also spoke of, I want to make sure I say that NFPA 710 is the statistic. Oh my God. It's a data point on fire deaths and property loss, or how comparable cities are comparing to different cities. And so Omaha, Nebraska has adopted these laws, 4-on-4 and 2-on-2, 4x. So my goal is to always be on par with cities that don't have the same kind of capacity, money, and things that we have. And Omaha, Nebraska, in there, because he mentioned major cities that have more people than us and as much money as us. So I just looked around to see what other cities said. And so Omaha firefighters have an oath. And in their oath, they say whether there are 3 or 4, because I just heard firefighters are stoic. So whether they are 3 or 4 firefighters per apparatus, or whether the 2 in, 2 out rule is in or not in place, Omaha firefighters will perform the duties no matter what. If we can help, if we can do it, the intention should be to be on standard with OSHA and with the 710. And so me, myself, I stand with the 2x2 and the 4-on-4. And so I stand with Councilmember Mary Norwood. She said that the compelling argument from Nate Bailey, but I want to go even further. The AI overview, the 4 people on a fire truck is just a common staffing, and it aligns with the safety standards of the NFPA's 2 in, 2 out. The roles, because everyone has a different role on a fire truck. And so I'm like, why do you need 4? So a standard 4-person crew includes an officer who directs the team, a driver who operates the pump and drives the truck, 2 firefighters who perform tasks like advancing hoses and performing rescues. So it'd be hard to compete all of those tasks without the 4. And so I stand with Councilmember Mary Norwood again. And I second that motion.
The Honorable Michael Julian Bond.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to ask the Chief a couple of questions, if you don't mind returning to the mic. Councilmember Collins touched on some things that I wanted to ask, but I do want to get to the root of the problem, because part of why I authored the legislation and really believed it was a no-brainer is because I want to see the fire department have and operate at its optimum level. And I have no problem telling the public or anybody else the fire department saved my life twice. Once from a fire, and once when I had a reaction to medication that caused me a respiratory incident 10 years ago where I couldn't breathe. So I have full faith and confidence, and if the fire department came to me, or the union or fire employees said, you know what, we want our trucks painted with gold instead, or platinum, I would try to do it, right? So no, I did not speak to you beforehand because I apologize for that publicly. But, I didn't think that this would be the issue that it has become. But I believe that we should do everything we can to give you the optimum amount of what you need to meet the highest standards in the industry. And so what I'm about to ask you now is, we're about 85% staffed, as you pointed out. Correct. Is there a timeline, a projected timeline for when we will be closer to 90% or 95%?
Thank you. So if we continue to trend in our hiring the way we are now, within the next 12 months, we should be at 90%. Councilman Lewis, I just wanted to share with you, too, that 2 in, 2 out that you spoke of, that is a policy in the city of Atlanta, and we have a written directive that addresses the 2 in, 2 out. So I don't want you to lose context of where we are with that speech of 4 on an engine, 4 on a truck. The spirit of 1710 is how many people you can put on the scene. It doesn't matter how many pieces of equipment you send. And so the standard, give you an example, a standard for a standard or a low-risk residential fire, NFPA is saying send 16 to 18 people. Okay. We're currently putting 23 to 25 people on that scene very quickly. And we exceed all of the standards with NFPA 1710 currently with our staffing model.
And I trust you and your leadership. I think we've been able to work together so many ways, but I want to make sure that I give you the power that you need as well. And OSHA and NFPA, I believe them. I believe that we can't wait to help you. I can't wait to help you.
And we believe them as well. But I just want to share with you, too, a lot of what we do is based on what is going on in our service area, meaning the density of our city, the number of fire stations that we have, the amount of equipment that we have, and the number of people that are running the calls. And so we are able to meet that standard. And if we were not meeting that standard, we would not be maintaining a Class 1 ISO rating, and we would not be reaccredited for the 5th time in 20 years.
But the union wouldn't complain as well. So if you were mean to stand it, the union wouldn't come to us with this request. And I come out the union, so I know that the people, so I'm just come out the union, and I know I was communications coordinator, so I used to get the text messages that they didn't want to tell their boss in the system. And so thank you so much. But the OSHA, and they're saying they need 4x4. They're saying they need 2 and 2. And I didn't even get to read this note that I took. Before people on a fire truck is a common staffing configuration that aligns with safety standards like the NFPA's 2 in, 2 out rule, which require two firefighters to remain outside the structure while 2 enter. So the only thing I'm hearing is numbers, 2 plus 2. So I got to see 4. All I'm saying is the standard across America has been 4, and Omaha, Nebraska doing it. So when Omaha doing it, Miami doing it, Chicago doing it, I'm like, well, we Atlanta, let's go harder. So I appreciate, similar to opening up Fire Station 30, in those posts that we see, because you count fire stations, we are going to open it, but right now Fire Station 30 is closed, and our engine's been relocated to Station 34. And so I'm just thinking about my area. Even I know we're having it worse down there, but not because of you, because you're doing everything you can. So I'm gonna do what I can to help give you the power that you need, and I think the power that you need should be to stand on OSHA's line of 2 and 2 and 4.
And I would appreciate if you could sit down and talk to me, and I can tell you what I need versus you having to hear from the union.
Yes, sir.
Because just like everything on the internet, everything is not true.
Yes, sir. You're right. Yes, sir.
The Honorable Michael Julian Bond.
Okay, yeah, so I can finish. So let me ask the Chief, so to build the capacity, so that's what, almost 5% a year to try to get to 100%. What are the impediments to that? Is it the class sizes? Is it the, the sequence and going through the academy? Is it the salaries? Is it the benefits? What is the impairment to get into 100%?
So what I can share with you is that some of the impediment is the class sizes, and we're now trying to figure out what is the normal capacity for a new training center. Prior to that, we were in the range of 120, having 120 in recruit school at all times. So we're looking to expand that number, but we also look at attrition. We have a lot of people that are eligible to retire. And so we've got people that are actually retiring. But the good thing about the people that are just randomly leaving, we have people that are coming back.
Okay, so in that vein, has there been any discussion about a recapture program for some of these who might be eligible for retirement?
So we do currently have a few recaptures, but those are for specific roles to pass off or to transfer knowledge once they leave the job. And so we are looking deeper into revamping our recruiting. We've been working with the administration on that and look at what does a lateral hire look like, trying to change the culture and getting people on the trucks a lot faster.
And so in our salaries and benefits, are we still at the lead, or where do we rank around the metro area or region?
We are not the lead, but we are close.
What would it take for us to be the lead?
A conversation with the mayor's office.
Okay. Well, I would hope, and I've said this to some folks in the media who've asked me over the last week about the legislation, that this is the beginning of the budget discussion for next year's budget to meet these needs and these considerations. We are, roughly 8 months or 9 months out from when we have to pass next year's fiscal budget. And I hope that this will obviously be front of mind for those here on the committee, but I hope that it will be front of mind for the entire council and the administration so that we can address these needs. Because if we read the charter, public safety is at the top of what we're supposed to be providing amongst all other services. And so if that can be, reprioritized heading into next year's budget early enough so that everybody's aware of what's needed and it doesn't get lost, in the May shuffle around those priorities, that I'm hoping that we can meet these goals. And thank you for your comments. And I'll make a fuller public commitment to make sure that our conversations, my conversation with the union and you, are more consistent, so that we build this understanding, because we all want the optimum level of service, performance, and resources for your department.
Thank you, and we'll continue to provide that.
Okay.
Chief, I want to take this opportunity to thank you and your entire team for what you all do in the city of Atlanta. And I think that many citizens would not know, if you don't live with an elderly person or if you are in a tragic car accident, how very, very important your department and the training that you all receive, giving insulin. I remember when your team would give the Honorable C.T. Martin insulin and just be there to help when there were serious falls. So, Chief, we appreciate everything you and your entire team do for the city of Atlanta. You all are truly the bravest.
Thank you so much, and we appreciate the support of each of you.
Do we have a motion?
Madam,
Yes,
the item has been motioned.
Can we open the vote?
Vote is open. Vote is closed. 5 yeas, 0 nays. The item is favorable. Madam Chair, we have one item to be considered come off of held. This is item number 23. This is item number 23, 25R3823, a resolution by Public Safety and Legal Administration Committee authorizing the settlement of all claims against the City of Atlanta in the case of Howard Brown and Elizabeth Brown versus Russell Stanilo and the City of Atlanta. Civil action file number 24 EV 000-874, pending in the State Court of Fulton County, State of Georgia, and the amount of $50,000.00. Settlement amount, authorizing the settlement amount to be charged to and paid from account numbers listed herein and for other purposes.
Move approval. Second. Seconded by the Honorable Antonio Lewis. Please open the vote.
Vote is open. Vote is closed. 5 yeas, 0 nays. The item is favorable. Madam Chair, we do have a piece of legislation that was walked in. This is. Oh, I'm sorry. We have one more item coming off of held. This is the substitute that was handed to you guys and distributed via email. This is item number 24. There is a request to substitute this item. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Vote is open. Vote is closed. 4 yeas, 0 nays. The substitute is before the body. For the record, the substitute adds a definition of theater to the legislation. This is item number 24, 24O1580, an ordinance by Councilmember Alex Swan as substituted by the Public Safety and Legal Administration Committee ×2, an ordinance to amend Chapter 10, Alcoholic Beverages, Section 10-1, to amend the definitional lounge and to amend Chapter 10, Section 10-1 to add a definition of nonprofit performing arts theater and for other purposes.
Move approval. Second. Seconded by the Honorable E.J. Collins. Please open the vote.
Vote is open.
That's the last letter.
There's one more.
You have it.
All right. Thank you, sir. The vote is closed. 3 yeas, 1 nay. The item is favorable. As substituted. Last item is a walk-in legislation.
We have lost a quorum. We have lost a quorum.
Councilmember Bond will be right back.
Okay.
What about Councilman Moore?
She's still here. She's still here. Ms. Talley, thank you for what your team does in the community. Ms. Selena Beasley, Mr. Exum, that entire team, thank you all for what you all do. Thank you.
Okay.
She tested that. I voted for it. That's also what I'm campaigning for. You know what I'm saying? She sent that text. That's what the people I hired
Tell you what. Okay. Madam Chair, quorum has been
We
reestablished.
have a quorum at this time.
This is a walk-in legislation. This is ELMS number 38946, an ordinance by Public Safety and Legal Administration Committee to ratify services rendered in connection with sole source agreement number listed herein, Pioneer Technology Benchmark, maintenance and support with Catalyst Courts and Land Records LLC, to authorize the mayor or his designee to execute amendment number 2 of the agreement on behalf of the Municipal Court of Atlanta and to exercise renewal option number 2 for a term of 1 year, retroactively effective January 25th, 2025 through January 24th, 2026, in an amount not to exceed $300,750.00. All funds shall be charged to and paid from the funding accounts listed herein and for other purposes. Madam Chair, this is a ordinance for first read. Therefore, there's no action that needs to be taken. That will conclude our legislative agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Overton. Now we will go back to our very important presentations. Elder Dancy and the Department of Corrections. Thank you, Elder. Come on up. Judge Ward, thank you. We will see you at our next meeting. Your staff, thank you all so much.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair and other distinguished council members. Thank you for this opportunity. I am Elder Dancy, Chief of Corrections for the City of Atlanta, and I will be providing you our fourth quarter presentation that covers April, May, and June.
Elder, could you introduce your wonderful staff
Absolutely.
to us? If you all would please stand. They do great work, everyone. They do great work in the City of Atlanta.
Thank you, Madam Chair, for that.
Chief Johnson,
yes.
in absentia, thank her for all she does with answering our phone calls.
Yes, we have Deputy Chief Johnson with us, Chief Quilla, Justin Thomas, our Communication Manager, Ms. Brown, our Business Manager, Ms. Williams, our Program Director.
Raise your hand, just wait.
Captain Jones, Chief of Staff, Major Wiggins, our Administrative Commander, and of course our distinguished food service staff, Supervisor Ms. Sherrod and Manager Ms. Brooks.
Let's give them a hand, everybody. This crew provides for the least of these, those when we are in our cold winter shelters, and they do so much with nice toothbrushes, toothpaste, blankets, towels, everything you all supply, top notch. Thank you, Chief Johnson, as well, for being here. Please proceed, Elder.
Thank you for that opportunity, ma'am. So we will move right into our presentation, starting with our vision and mission statement. These statements reflect our ongoing commitment to our stakeholders and and the community at large. Our vision statement is to protect the public while striving for excellence, through exemplary customer service and promoting community involvement. And our mission statement is to provide a safe and secure correctional environment, enhance public safety through partnerships with the community and law enforcement. And our next slide brings us to some examples of those partnerships. The first one is with Someone Cares, which is a nonprofit community-based organization that provides health services, education and health services to those living with HIV, AIDS, and other health disparities. And as you can see, thanks to Someone Cares Atlanta and our healthcare team, we were able to provide 52 detainees with services during the fourth quarter. And in emergency management, we continue to work with Office of Emergency Preparedness to prepare for extreme winter weather, as well as FIFA World Cup. And Second Chance Partnership. We aid in the reentry process in collaboration with the Georgia Department of Corrections. And this next slide is a partnership that we have with Grady Hospital's Department of Psychiatry and Emory Forensic Psychiatry Fellows. They assist us twice a week with providing services to our detainees, and pictured there on the right is an example of that collaboration. That's Supervisor Ms. Cross on the left, Grady psychiatrist Dr. Sims, DLC mental health clinician Ms. Domingo Hans, and Grady psychiatrist Dr. Hira Riemann. As you can see, they saw 149 detainees during the fourth quarter. And our next slide is our transportation efforts. We believe that accountability and compassion work hand in hand. We were able to provide services to 102 detainees during this past quarter, and we also provided 185 motor cars for those detainees to assist. The next slide is our leadership team, who coordinate training as well as our recruitment efforts. Pictured there is Director Williams, seated is Dr. Huff, next to him is Sergeant Fluellen and Lieutenant DeBerry. They assist us with our ongoing efforts with training and recruitment. And the next slide is an example of some of those training efforts there. We definitely want to highlight and thank Cobb County. Sergeant Howard provided training for our team to assist with our TASER certification. So we really appreciate that. And as you can see, the other training listed, I'm not going to go through all of them, but definitely want to especially thank Atlanta Police Department and Atlanta Fire Rescue for allowing us to utilize the Atlanta Public Safety Training Academy. And our next slide is going to show our employment and attrition numbers. Our staffing numbers remain stable as our hiring efforts overall continues, but we've seen a significant reduction in our vacancy gap because of those efforts during our last quarter. But we definitely continue to actively recruit to maintain our staffing levels. And there in our personnel status, you can see in April, we had 45 sworn, 64 civilians, May 152 sworn, 63 civilians, and in June, this past quarter, we had 150 sworn and 61 civilians. The next slide involves our court statistics. Virtual court continues to function effectively, supporting us as we handle our schedule and give us the ability to adapt as we evolve with municipal court. And you can see the numbers there in the orange bar graph on the left. They've steady increased from FY23, 1347, 24, 2394, and 25, 2997. And we say that's partly because of the modification of the signature bonds. Our next slide is our in-court statistics, which is a comparison from FY24 to this year. This is a new, safer, we believe a safer, simpler, and more convenient option for our customers. And it's just one of the examples how we are evolving our processes to better serve our citizens. As you can see there on the left, top left, FY24 in-court numbers was at 76%. Our cash numbers were at 24, and then this year our in-court numbers are at 81 versus cash 19. So we like to see the cash numbers go down and our in-court numbers go up. So we are moving in the right direction as we continue to serve our customers. And then, as you can see at the beginning of the year, we began our e-bonding platform, and we have so far for the fourth quarter, we were able to serve 1,237 bonds during that quarter. So again, I want to especially thank Municipal Court and this body for presenting the legislation, as well as AIM and Department of Law and Procurement for assisting us with that contract. The next slide is our total booking average and daily population. We provide these every quarter to this committee, and I'm not going to go through all the numbers, but as you can see there on the bottom left, yellow represents Fulton and orange represents ACDC. Our current average daily population now has gone up to 113, and our booking numbers are 394. So we've seen a steady incline over the years. As you can see, in FY24 was 63 average population, in 23 it was 43. The next slide shows our 10 top charges, including all offenses per arrest, even the minor offenses. Many of these are state violation handled concurrently by municipal court. And as you can see, most are traffic. And the next slide is a slide that this committee asked us to present every quarter, the demographics for ACDC and Fulton County, gender, race, average age, and average length of stay. And as you can see, there's a fourth quarter comparison, Fulton County and Atlanta to the FY25 comparison for the fourth quarter. And this is our next slide. Our next slide is going to be our Fulton County agreement. Fulton County continue to manage the detainees services, and we maintain a close coordination to ensure the partnership operates efficiently. As you can see, during this quarter, as of October 2nd, actually, Fulton County had 452 detainees housed, 302 females and 150 males. Currently, as of today, when we checked, it was 464, so that number fluctuates a little bit. Nothing major to report regarding our relationship with Fulton. It continues to be ongoing and no significant issues there. The next slide, these are a few moments from our Corrections Week, a time where we pause and recognize the incredible work that our employees do every day. So we had a bunch of activities starting Sunday at church through Friday, where we culminated with a banquet. And as you can see the pictures there, I see Councilman Lewis stepped out. I wanted to invite him next year to the basketball tournament challenge that we have every year. But we had a lot of activities involved, and definitely want to thank everybody who came out, the administration. Madam Chair Boone, as you can see her picture there in the middle, came out and surprised our team with an award. Actually, our food service team, Ms. Brooks and Ms. Sherrod's team, for the outstanding work that they do, not just in ACDC, but beyond the walls, providing services to those vulnerable citizens during a time of need. So definitely appreciate all the support with that Corrections Week and Nurses Week. And the next slide, I want to say congratulations to our DOC team, especially our accreditation team. Pictured there was a team that went to Denver for our review. We had to sit before a panel board, and the team did an outstanding job. So there is on the left, the tall guys, Officer Laws, Ms. Holmes, Director Frazier, who's in charge of the unit. To my right is Ms. Major Wiggins, who's over the unit, and Dr. Byfield, who took the lead on our PREA certification. So definitely want to thank the team for their hard work, as well as the entire Department of Corrections to ensure that we continue to maintain our high standards. And we had a 100 on our mandatory and a 100 on our non-mandatory standards, which the board members stated that that is rare. So definitely want to publicly thank our team for that hard work. And here you'll see our summer interns. As you probably saw them throughout the presentation, and we are proud of the great work that they did for us. These are just some examples of the work they did in the community. One was the state capitol visit, District 10, and the summer jam at Promise. And this next slide is some of the additional work that they did with updating our lobby information, presenting a comprehensive inventory report, conducted a presentation on the pros and cons of using IA, spearheaded a back-to-school backpack drive for us as well. So we are very thankful for the interns who supported us this summer. And here are other events that we are involved with beyond the walls. One is with Councilman Bond at St. Peter's Missionary Baptist Church, while our team went out to assist in a food drive. And on the right is Councilmember Boone, where we assisted on a food drive as well at Jackson Memorial Church. And the next one is where we assisted with the groundbreaking ceremony with DOT and District 10 in partnership with Councilman Boone team. The next one was a youth event at Cleveland Elementary School in partnership with Atlanta Police Department and Atlanta Fire Rescue. And the next one was an opportunity that we took advantage of at a reading circle with City View Scholars Academy, there with Dr. Battle, Dr. Huff, Ms. Cade, and our interns who assisted. And then next slide is we want to just congratulate retiree Ms. Nima Sanders. Thank her for 27 years of dedicated service to our department. And Ms. Sanders also was a part of our accreditation team. She retired before we went to Denver, but she played a major role in assisting us with those efforts. And then finally, again, if I could just give a shout out to our intern team. That pictured there on the left is Ms. Cade, who was their supervisor. Also not pictured is Ms. Pittman, but next to her is Mr. Hales, who's a student at Kennesaw State, Ms. Gaines, who's a graduate of Virginia State University, and next to Madam Chair Boone is Mr. Hudson, who's a Morehouse graduate, and finally Ms. Patman, who's in graduate school at Valdosta State. Thank you, Madam Chair, for supporting our interns, and I just want to say thanks to this committee for your continued support of the Department of Corrections. We are very appreciative of you all. Thank you. And that concludes my presentation. Of course, we're available for any comments or questions.
Chief, I would like to thank this dynamic team. I see so many events here, but then there are so many others, especially those last-minute requests that members of the city give you all, and you all carry out those with excellence. Again, excellence, excellence, top-notch. Thank you all for your professionalism and also treating those citizens that are incarcerated with humanity and dignity. I talk to their parents, their grandparents as we move around, our ministers who deal with you all a lot, trying to help their families. Again, thank you. And to the kitchen staff, thank you for those hot meals. Keep them coming because many of our homeless population, this is the only time they get hot meals, believe it or not. And they deal with them on a regular basis. Again, thank you, thank you, thank you. The Honorable Michael Julian Bond.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Chief Dansby, and all your staff for excellent work. And I don't think the public fully appreciates how much you all do. So I really think and appreciate your presentation here today, because I guess on the surface you are an inward-looking agency, but you do so much to impact the community. And so I always want to go out of my way to say thank you for everything that you all do. And just to touch on what Chairwoman Boone said about the humane treatment that you all provide people who are usually having the worst day of their life when they interact with you. So we deeply appreciate it, and we just want to salute all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Elder Dancy, and you all are to be commended for running a clean, safe, and sanitary facility. Thank you. Next, the City of Atlanta Department, City Attorney Patrice Perkins Hooker. Thank you. She is here.
Madam Chair, I'm always here for the quarterly. Is despite having an upper respiratory infection, I'm here. But good afternoon, everybody, and Madam Chair and committee members. I am here on behalf of the Department of Law to give our update about the last quarterly activities. I am joined here today by my deputy in charge of litigation, Mr. Torrey Smith. Stand up, Mr. Smith. My deputy in charge of finance and the municipal court services, Cheryl Ringer. My deputy in charge of the airport, Kimberly Patrick. And my deputy in charge of the business services, contracts, procurement, Karen Edwards. And upstairs manning the shop is the deputy, Sharon Broach, who also deals with DPW, the watershed management, and labor groups. So I am very proud of these deputies. They have helped me tremendously, and they help the city on a day-to-day basis manage all of the requirements of a $2.2 billion operation with almost 10,000 people. It is a phenomenal team of people, and this little snapshot of what happened this quarter is just a snapshot of what we do every day. We disseminated the reports to you last week, and I'm just going to highlight some of the division metrics that are represented within the report, and then I'll address any questions that you may have about the departments, and we can get some specifics from the folks who run them as well. In litigation, I want you to know that we had a total of 392 open matters, but we are now handling more matters in-house. We are gotten to be fully staffed, gotten some depth in our competencies, and so 68% of the matters that came before us have been handled in-house, and 122 of the matters have been referred outside. Those 122, again, as I've mentioned before, involve a lot of environmental challenges we have in the city, as you're aware of, as well as class action lawsuits and 1983 actions that are generally related to police actions. In the claims department, which is a group underneath Deputy Smith, we have had 335 new claims opened in quarter four. We've done a phenomenal job over the last 2 quarters of reducing the backlog that we had. If you go back to the beginning of first quarter, we had like 750 cases still processing. We're working with those very, very competently, and we have resolved 227 claims, and we've been doing it in a way that is resulting in the city paying 0.005% of what was claimed. We settle cases on a very arduous basis, which takes time. I'm going to acknowledge that. We are still working on improving the turnaround time for these claims, but we do thoroughly investigate. We have a police officer assigned to us, and that person goes out and looks to see if the person was really injured. They go out and look to see if there are really the damages that have been alleged. I thought you, okay. Thank you. I thought he was able to handle it because before it's done there, I'll do it. Those are the claims, but I thought they had to report too, but for the public. Okay, for the public. This is the litigation numbers pages I've mentioned and the claims. And then I'm going into the next is the metrics for quarter four for the business services group. And they list all of the various activities that we're involved in, but there are 383 different meetings, and we've also divided them by the types of services, basically real estate related matters that we deal with and contracts. And so they are mentioned by abandonment, easements, legal opinions, legislative matters. They do a variety here in the city. The municipal governance team is the next division that reflected its metrics, and in this particular group, they had 471 types of matters that they dealt with. And then this is the group that deals with supporting finance, municipal court, public safety, and it breaks down the matters by client. And as you would imagine, finance and public safety are the largest users of services on a regular basis. But I do want to commend the finance team, because this team handled all of the bond closings for the city of Atlanta, representing our interests, including the our largest $1.2+ billion airport initiation that we just did, that issuance. It's amazing that you can do all of this in-house with outside counsel that serve in roles related to the financing. So you have bond counsel, underwriters counsel, and things like that. But our team does a phenomenal job, and I'm proud of them. They also handle our quiet title matters, and those quiet title matters are matters that bring the city in money for people who owe us money for unpaid bills, obligations, liens, etc. We handled filing for 54 quiet title petitions, and we filed claims for 73 matters, and we trying to chase $581,000 with those claims. We collected $60,000 for the payment of delinquent ad valorem taxes during last quarter. The next group is the contract matters, which is part of the business services team, and they dealt with 168 meetings and a total of 324 matters. You will see the types of matters range from solicitation reviews for procurement all the way through handling bid protests and everything in between. That we generate all and review all of the contracts that are generated by departments as well. The next one is we've asked for this time a summary from our public safety team, because we have a new division chief who was put into place, whose name is Shamira Washington. You've seen her before. She supports fire and police, and so she provided you a little bit of a summary on her first presentation slide of what they've done fairly recently. They provide advice all the time to the police. They are literally there at all of their meetings, the leadership team meetings. They answer a myriad of questions every day. They're part of all of the planning meetings that we have for every event that the police do. There's someone from law right there with them. But in addition to that, they wanted to celebrate the municipal court standing up a warrant division. They have finally gotten all the paperwork and documentation in place to do that internally. And then the FIFA planning for the what public safety needs to do, and that includes both police and fire, as well as emergency. Labor and employment, they handled a total of 324 matters, and the matters are broken down again from all types of inquiries from every department. And as you see the little graph, the number one department they support is HR. We are their external support if they need any help with any interpretation of our labor policy procedures. We also draft the actual policies. For example, the most recent was paternity leave, and maternity leave. All of those guidelines keep our policies up to date with any changes that come forth from the federal government. And we were also very supportive of HR with its actions to deal with the problems with the pay and compensation study and the difference between exempt and non-exempt employees. We've been very engaged with that. And I want to really give them a shout out because of the fact that we have a lot of work for just a few people. We actually have a staff of 3, including the deputy. So they have handled quite a few matters with regard to that, and I'm very proud of what they've been able to do. In the operations group that handles transportation, public safety, and SAFE, we coordinate for the entire city compliance with the basically the E-certify, verify for all of the workers, and then dealing with the different categories of U.S. citizens as well as non-U.S. citizens. We processed a total of 296 of those and made certain all of the departments are in compliance. That's done by one person who also supports the department's administrative stuff. This is just unbelievable sometimes. The transportation and public matters, safety matters were 370. Most of them were providing advice and counsel. And then, as you know, you have seen Roger Bahari and Stephanie Grant, who are our 2 division chiefs at staffing your transportation and public works utilities committee meetings. All right, then we have watershed management. These are the number of cases dealing with them and the Department of Watershed related boards. We also provide legal services for the riparian buffer technical panel and the water and sewer appeals boards, and each of them have a number of cases that are received each and every quarter. And they are 192 appeals from the Water and Safety Board, and then riparian buffer technical panels, maybe 6 hearings, but 82 amended petitions. And then we have in the operations division, the legislative, administrative, and city council matters. And I have another new division chief to let you know about. I have promoted Amber Robinson, and she is now the person who is in charge of this. You all are familiar with her. But she has been steadfastly assisting the department as a whole with any type of legislation review, Open Records Act request, and then also serving as special counsel to you guys when there is a request that you all have for assistance with drafting legislation. Why does it look like this so much? But the next division is the aviation division. And as you know, there was a lot of activity generated by the Department of Aviation and the airport. We're in celebration planning mode for celebrating the airport's 100-year anniversary. All of that requires contracts. All of that requires agreements, MOUs, depending on the exhibits, and all of those things that are involved with just staging something that immense. And our team supports the airport, and our deputy has been working in that position for over 20 years of dealing with supporting the airport. So they are very, very competent people, and they've done a great job. But they do a lot of contract drafting and review, as well as providing legal advice, counsel with regard to FAA concessions. There's a very variety of in-house legal services that they do. And then we provide you, I guess it was monthly, like an actual list of the attorneys who do work on our behalf, but this is a quarterly summary of the total that we expend. It is tremendous, but again, as I told you, we're $2 billion operation, so you're going to have to spend some resources externally to help out where needed. We've compared the same time period for fiscal year 2024 to fiscal year 2025, and it went up 14%. We've provided an explanation for that, and it will vary from year to year based upon the nature and complexities of the cases that come before us. We don't get a chance to decide we're not going to defend the city. We have to take everything that gets served upon us. So we do so with a smile, and we do so managing a very tight budget to try to get it all done. Any questions?
Madam City Attorney, thank you all so much for assisting us in this dynamic team. If you all could stand again, they are just magnificent,
Yes,
magnificent. Miss Amber Robinson, stand. Miss Amber Robinson. Oh, you all are spectacular, and just thank you for being accessible to us, because we need the law department. We need the law department. We just worked out a difficult issue last week, and it was just magnificent. So thank you so much. And Madam City Attorney, thank you for always answering the call and being accessible to all of us. Again, thank you so much. Do we have any questions or concerns? That's a great day, great City of Atlanta Law Department.
Okay, that's it? Okay, thank you.
Do we have any announcements? The Honorable Michael Julian Bond.
Well, one, I just want to compliment the law department. I think they're doing it.
Let's give them another hand. They are great. They have to hear from all of us all of the time.
But I do want to announce that the next ATL Fresh and Free Food Giveaway will be this Wednesday, October the 15th at the Church of Atlanta Lighthouse at 1380 Boulevard Southeast at 2 p.m. And there's no prerequisite to participate. So we just ask people to come early, and we'll be there while our supplies last. Thank you.
Anything, Election Day. Tomorrow is early voting, the first day of early voting, October 14th through October 31st, and Election Day is November 4th. Again, early voting begins tomorrow. If there are no other issues for the Public Safety Committee, this meeting is adjourned. This was great. This is a long one.